Hello there, lovely people, it's Alex from Nintendo Life here, and welcome back to Alex Asks. And last time, I asked you, lovely lot, how powerful do you think the Switch is gonna be? Well, it's just what a few of you had to say. Last Flick says stronger than the PS4 and, on the go, a little more powerful than the Wii U. That wouldn't make sense. Imbursto Ashes says, I think the Nintendo Switch is as powerful as Alex's broken PS2. It could happen. Well, I don't even know if it is broken. It could be... You know what? I'm going to test it now. I really hope this thing's multi-voltage. So I just need to plug that in there. And... Oh, switch. No. Oh, it does work! It's got a reset button, so what happened? It lives! Portal King says the Switch will only be powerful once you teach it the hidden move Strength. Then it will be powerful enough to break rocks. If I can just put my nerd hat on for a moment. HM stands for Hidden Machine and not Hidden Move. Bill John says more powerful than your hatred of ducks. Look, I don't hate ducks. Some of my best friends are ducks. Cuban My good friend Cuban says, honestly, if it's not 4K, then they wasting their time. The PS4 Pro is changing the game when it comes to 4K console gaming, and I can only believe that Microsoft are soon to follow. Come on, Nintendo, I love your games, but we need more. More pixels, apparently. I get where Cuban's coming from, but to be honest, I don't think that 4K gaming is going to kick off quite in the way that other people think it will, because, well, I mean, at the moment, most games aren't even 1080p, let alone 1080p 60 frames a second, unless you've got some sort of super beefy computer that's got 4 million teraflops of juice and 30 gigabytes of super RAM, or whatever you're calling it. In my opinion, a far more important thing is the quality of the games, not how many pixels it's outputting, how many frames, but just the quality of the games themselves. I mean, look at the NES Mini. There's a big nostalgia factor, I know, but the NES Mini, the resolution's so low on that thing, kind of. I mean, the games themselves are very low resolution, and yet that thing is selling like hotcakes. Hotcakes that are out of stock. Out of stock cakes. Brussels Sprouts Gaming says, I'm predicting the Switch will be in the Xbone power range. At least a 4-hour battery and only 720p, 30 frames a second in handheld mode. Virtual console games will run in 60 frames a second, however. I do believe that the battery power is something that a lot of people are concerned about at the moment, and the idea of, a 4-hour battery life, that seems ridiculous compared to like the 3DS where you can get about 10 out of it and things like that, and previous consoles, except the original Game Boy, which really had a terrible battery life. Even worse was the Game Gear. But for something to be able to have that much power and be portable, it's gonna use up a lot of juice, or be really heavily optimized, which is possible, I suppose, but also, we've got these massive battery packs that you can buy now, these standard USB batteries, and I'm sure someone will make a case for the Switch where it has a battery in it as well. I think that's the thing that a lot of people are worrying about, but these days there are so many options, I don't think we need to worry, really. Maxus says, hard to say until we know what the NX actually is. Is it a handheld? Is it a console? We've got absolutely no way of telling. No way at all. We definitely don't know. Really. Isaiah Hill comes back to the battery argument and says if the Nintendo Switch can last at least 5 to 6 hours without charging, then I'm good with that. Smiley face. Yeah, I'd say 5 to 6 hours would be acceptable. To be honest, even the 4 hours, that would be acceptable. And it's going to depend on the game you're running, I'm sure, much like, you know, a mobile unit, by which I mean a mobile device, obviously. Bramble Gaming says the Switch will be at least as powerful as a toaster. I don't know, mate, I did a brief Google search and I found some fantastic looking toasters just on Google Images. Some of them, you know, they had screens, they had Wi-Fi, they had social capabilities, some of them were cooking eggs, you know, you name it. These toasters are advanced. I don't know if the Switch can compare. Apollo 10 says, since the Switch is based on a custom Tegra chip, I find it quite likely that it would be more powerful than the Tegra X1. If the chip is based on the Pascal architecture, it should have a great power to energy consumption ratio. My best guesstimate is that the Switch's chip power would be between a GTX 960 and a GTX 1060. Well, if you're watching and that means something to you, well done, you know more about chips than I do. But it sounds good. Yes, Spectacular says maybe not as powerful as the Play Potato 4, but can outperform the X-Potato 1, and it is clearly nowhere near the Potato Pro. Just how I like my potatoes. Alexandre Nepomuceno, I'm sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly, says Nintendo already proved that power isn't everything. The Wii U has some of the most gorgeous games this generation, even if only half of the Xbox One processing power, namely Mario Kart 8 and Xenoblade Chronicles. I'm guessing you mean Xenoblade Chronicles X. I alluded to this previously in the video, but that is exactly how I feel. It doesn't just come down to raw power, it also just comes down to the games themselves. They are far more important, because you can have all the power in the world, but if you don't have any decent games, you're gonna flop. Look at the Dreamcast, although it actually had some good games. And finally, Tim Martin says, I heard in a video that the Switch may be no more powerful than the Wii U. Well, Tim, to be honest with you, when it comes to videos and things like that, especially YouTube, you've got to sort of just don't take everything as read, because the people who make them, you know, they're generally looking more for clicks than anything. They are not that well informed. They have floppy hair, beards. They wear the same damn t-shirt every time they do a video. You know, just sort of don't believe everything you hear on YouTube. Massive thanks to everybody who left a comment. Unfortunately, I can't read all of your comments out because I am only Alex Olney, the one and only. But you do have a chance to get one of your comments read out in the next episode. And so my question for you this week is, what do you want to see from this only slightly teased new Mario game for the Switch? Let us know down in the comments. You can talk about the features, the graphics. Do you want it to be more like Galaxy, more like Sunshine, more like Mario 64? Let yourselves run wild, and as I said previously, let us know down there in the comments. I'm not going to tell you again. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then why don't you create a weekly thing? Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then why don't you create a weekly YouTube series all about that subscribe button and it asking you questions, and be sure to check out nintendolife.com for all sorts of lovely Nintendo related content. Thank you again for watching. Bye bye.